As a young boy, Carl Fredricksen idolizes explorer Charles Muntz. But after he is accused of presenting a fake giant bird skeleton from Paradise Falls in South America, Muntz returns to the area intent on clearing his name by capturing a living specimen. Carl meets fellow Muntz fan Ellie, who confides her desire to move her clubhouse, an abandoned house in the neighborhood, to a cliff overlooking Paradise Falls. The two later marry and live in the rebuilt house, with Carl working as a balloon salesman and Ellie a tour guide at the zoo. After Ellie suffers a miscarriage, the couple decide to refocus and begin saving for a trip to Paradise Falls, but are constantly forced to spend their savings on more urgent needs. Years pass and Carl decides to arrange the trip as a surprise for Ellie. On the day that Carl plans to tell Ellie, she falls ill and is hospitalized, dying soon after. Sometime later, a now retired Carl stubbornly holds out in the house while the neighborhood around him is replaced by skyscrapers. After Carl accidentally strikes a construction worker during a mishap, the court deems him a public menace, requiring his relocation to an assisted living facility. However, Carl resolves to keep Ellie's promise, turning his house into a makeshift airship using countless helium balloons and flying away. Russell, an 8-year-old Asian American wilderness explorer who visits Carl in an effort to earn his final merit badge for assisting the elderly, becomes an accidental stowaway. Before Carl can land and send Russell home, they encounter a storm that propels the house to South America. The house lands on a mesa opposite Paradise Falls. Carl and Russell harness themselves to the still buoyant house and begin to walk it across the mesa, hoping to reach the falls before the balloons deflate. Russell encounters a giant, colorful flightless bird, whom he names Kevin. They then meet Doug, a golden retriever who has a special collar with a device that translates his speech into English. He joins them on their trek. Up is a 2009 American computer animated film directed by Pete Docter, with a screenplay by him and Bob Peterson. It stars the voices of Ed Asner, Christopher Plummer, Jordan Nagai, and Bob Peterson. The film centers on elderly widower Carl Fredricksen, Asner and wilderness explorer Russell, Nagai, who go on a journey to South America in order to fulfill a promise that Carl made to his late wife Ellie. Along the way, they meet a talking dog named Bob Peterson, and encounter a giant bird named Kevin, who is being hunted by the explorer Charles Muntz, Plummer. Originally titled Heliums, Docter conceived the outline for Up in 2004 based on fantasies of escaping from life when it becomes too irritating. He and 11 other Pixar artists spent 3 days in Venezuela gathering research and inspiration. The designs of the characters were caricatured and stylized considerably, and animators were challenged with creating realistic cloth. It was Pixar's first film to be presented in 3D format. Up debuted at the 62nd Cannes Film Festival on May 13, 2009, and was released in the United States on May 29. The film received critical acclaim for its characters, themes, narrative, Asner's vocal performance, and Giacchino's score, as was the montage of Carl and his wife Ellie growing old together. Organizations like the National Board of Review and American Film Institute named Up as one of the top 10 films of 2009. It earned $735.1 million worldwide, finishing its theatrical run as the 6th highest grossing film of 2009. At the 82nd Academy Awards, Up received 5 nominations including Best Picture, becoming only the second animated feature film to have been nominated for the award, after Beauty and the Beast, and won 2, for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Score. It additionally received numerous accolades at a number of different awards ceremonies. Up has an approval rating of 98% based on 298 professional reviews on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, with an average rating of 8.7 out of 10. Its critical consensus reads, "An exciting, funny, and poignant adventure, Up offers an impeccably crafted story told with wit and arranged with depth, as well as yet another visual Pixar treat." Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned Up a score of 88 out of 100 based on 37 critics, indicating universal acclaim. A pack of fierce dogs led by the Doberman Pinscher Alpha take Carl, Russell, Doug, and Kevin to their master, Charles Muntz. He invites them aboard his dirigible and talks about his search for the bird. Carl realizes Muntz's obsession with finding the bird has driven him mad, to the point of killing innocent travelers whom he suspects of seeking the bird themselves. When Russell sees the skeleton's resemblance to Kevin, Muntz becomes suspicious of their intentions. The dogs pursue Carl, Russell, and Doug until Kevin saves them. Russell urges Carl to help Kevin get home and reunite with her chicks, but then Muntz captures her. He starts a fire beneath Carl's house, forcing him to choose whether to rescue it or Kevin, Carl chooses his home. Carl looks through Ellie's childhood scrapbook and discovers that she filled in the blank pages with photos of their marriage, accompanying a note written from her hospital bed, thanking him for their adventure and encouraging him to have a new one. Reinvigorated, he goes outside, only to see Russell set out after Kevin using a leaf blower and some balloons to fly. Carl lightens his house by throwing out furniture and keepsakes. Muntz captures Russell, but Carl and Doug board the dirigible and free both Russell and Kevin. When Muntz pursues them to the tethered house, Carl lures Kevin back to the airship using a piece of chocolate. Muntz leaps after them, but his leg catches on balloon strings, and he falls to his death. The house descends out of sight. Carl and Russell reunite Kevin with her chicks before returning home in Muntz's airship. Russell finally receives his Assisting the Elderly badge, and Carl presents Russell with a grape soda bottle cap that Ellie gave to Carl when they first met, which he now dubs the Ellie badge. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Carl, the house lands on the cliff beside Paradise Falls, fulfilling his promise to Ellie.